Alright, this is the first video using the GoPro on my helmet. I'm on the BMW 650. This is all new to me. Not riding, but vlogging. Right now I kind of got a temporary setup. I don't know for how long the audio is going to pick up my voice very well, because basically I'm using a little external lapel mic to go from the GoPro into my helmet. Probably okay for now, but when I start getting up to highway speeds and start getting wind noise, not sure how that's going to pan out. We'll see in just a few minutes. Probably been riding motorcycle steady now for quite some time. I think it was 2003 when I bought this BMW F650. It only had about 1,000 miles on it when I got it, and now we got 64K. Haven't ridden it too much in the past year, or actually 2 years, because I've also got the Can-Am Spyder RT that we tend to take our long trips on now. And we're going to yield on the red because it didn't sense us sitting there, and we're not going to wait all night. So anyway, back to what I ride. This little BMW has been a really great bike, and I really do enjoy it. It's just now that I've got the RT, that's the one we always take because it's more comfortable for two-up, obviously. And I'm sure there'll be a couple of vlogs if I do this in the future. I'll do some vlogs on the Spyder as well. But yeah, so I've been riding motorcycles pretty steady since I got this guy way back, like I said, back in, I believe it was 2003. Maybe it's not that old. I'm terrible at remembering stuff like that once it gets once it gets that far ahead. That's why I keep up a website so I can go back and see when I actually bought it. And that might have been, I know my justification for getting it way back when was gasoline prices. That was back when they really first started to spike and go up. I was commuting to work 25 miles one way, driving a Land Rover Discovery that only got about 12 miles to the gallon on a good day. Stop and go traffic, it was probably getting more like 10. So yeah, it was definitely good justification to get back on a motorcycle. My very first motorcycle was a 72 or 73 Yamaha 750 triple. Good little bike. I bought it used from a guy in Louisiana when I was in college. I think I got the bug to get a bike when my dorm mate, that was pretty much his only mode of transportation. He had a bike. I don't remember exactly what he had, but I just remember talking to him about it, and there's just something about the open air freedom of the ride that just resonated with me. So I started looking, and I found that bike for sale, and it seemed like a really good deal. Hell, I don't remember. I think I only probably paid a couple $100 for it. Went and looked at it. Thing was in great physical shape. The only thing is it needed a new battery, because we probably cranked on that thing for a good hour trying to get it started. And it was the kind of bike that had electric start and a Kickstarter. That was actually kind of nice. It's just that, like I said, you know, when I went and looked at it, of course the battery was dead. But yeah, anyway, so we jumped on that thing and jumped and jumped and jumped, and it finally started. Once it was started, it ran strong. Nothing else wrong with it. So got the bike, scared the living shit out of myself riding it back to my dorm room at night, no less. I guess you can say I probably did everything wrong when it came to getting my first motorcycle. It was too big. It had some slight mechanical problems, come to find out, and I had no previous proper training. Talk about jumping off the deep end. So yeah, anyway, managed to get home alive without killing myself. Never driven a standard vehicle at all, so no true concept of clutch. And two, like I said before, no proper training at all on a motorcycle. Did that, got it insured, did everything you were supposed to do there, did what I had to do, got my motorcycle endorsement. I don't even know if they had motorcycle safety courses back then, to be honest with you. You just had to go to the DMV, and the instructor told you what to do in the parking lot. It was basically go in a straight line, brake, turn around, make some swerves, make a U-turn, and you were done. It was ridiculously that simple. Check box, you got your motorcycle endorsement. Well, it's all good. Got my motorcycle endorsement, got some insurance, tinkered on it, changed some tires, all that stuff. Now, mind you, I haven't told my parents about this bike yet. Of course not. Why would I? That would have been the smart thing to do, to bring it up and say, would they mind? Of course, That's exactly why I did not tell them or bring it up at all, because had I asked them, had I said, hey, I'm thinking of getting a motorcycle, no, it would have been just all out no. So yeah, that's probably why I did it on the sly. Of course, I guess I didn't think far enough into the future as to, well, how am I ever going to explain the fact that I now have a motorcycle? Well, as it so happened, I was driving around campus, driving around town, and for whatever reason, my father happened to be in town where I was in college. He was taking care of some business or something and saw me riding around. And so I got a phone call later that evening, and the Inquisition was on. So obviously there was some, not, you know, it wasn't an argument, but I mean, there was obviously some loud discussion, let's say. You know, got the riot act about how unsafe they are, and that they're disappointed that I would do such a thing without checking with them first, and, you know, typical, you know, parent guilt trip thing. It's to be expected, and I'm not going to say it wasn't deserving, because I did go behind their back basically and just do whatever the hell I wanted to do in getting that bike. So anyway, days, weeks, months go by. They still never really liked the fact that I was on a motorcycle. I mean, my mother more so, obviously, than my father. Eventually it just, I guess, became accepted that he's gonna be on a motorcycle. That's what he likes, so let him be. So anyway, fast forward a little bit, you know, graduate college, move away, get a job, relocate to another town, another state actually. I kept that bike for a good many years, and I had some episodes, I had a couple incidents with it where, you know, I did go down on the bike. The worst one I ever had was riding in the rain one day and came across some railroad tracks that of course ran parallel to the road I was on. So of course, what do you think happens? Yeah, the front tire catches the rut. Alright people, let's trade lanes here. What is with all this traffic? Oh man, don't tell me this is all the traffic of people trying to get to LaGrange. And I forgot to clean my face shield. Got caught in the rut of the railroad tracks in the rain. So yeah, of course, it bites the front tire. The back end slides out. I go down hard on the right side. And of course, this is back in the day where, all you really wore was a helmet. Of course, my right elbow got, not really bad, but I guess I was lucky that it was wet, so it took away some of the friction. But it did hamburger up my elbow a bit. I got some nice bruising on my leg. But, you know, and I wasn't going very fast. Now, I guess that's another good thing. And of course, fell down on the right side, which is where the alternator case was on that particular bike. Oh, they're having us get off the damn freeway. Awesome. Oh, why? All right, come on, people. I'm a small little bike. Let me in. Go, go, go. Okay, where were we? Blah, blah, blah. Yes, the alternator. You know, of course, that's aluminum housing. And yeah, it made a big old hole in the alternator cover. I don't think it messed up the actual alternator wires, but obviously a hole in the cover, rain, not a good combination. So I think if I remember right, I did actually have to replace the stator. So there was that, and it seemed like ever since that particular little drop, the bike was never really the same. Then it just started to seem to be like it was one thing after the other. The front calipers on the brakes were starting to seize, so I had to have that rebuilt. And this was back before I had any kind of tools or experience. So of course I was, you know, had it in a shop and had a mechanic working on it. And of course, you know, trying to get started in making a living here in a big city, and yeah, money is not exactly free flowing. So that was kind of hard. And I finally got that done and got the bike back. And then sure as not that long later, I lost second gear. So I'd have to go all the way from first gear into third. Yeah, that was fun. And then the Kickstarter, I couldn't use it anymore. I think the spline stripped on it. And then, of course, I think the alternator was still acting up. It wouldn't charge the battery. So, yeah, now you got to keep the bike. I was actually strategically parking in places where I could be uphill and then roll down so I could bump start it. Yeah, I finally got tired of that shit. I mean, that went on for a few years. And then I bought a donor bike from a scrapyard that had a good motor in it. I'll just swap them out, take it apart, fix the motor. Well, I got as far as stripping everything out of the frame, and then life happened and couldn't get back to it. So I literally, part by part, took that bike to the dumpster and just threw it away. You heard me right. I threw a motorcycle and a half into the dumpster of the apartment complex we were living in. At that point, it was, okay, I got to give up on this motorcycle. It was, I had to cut my losses, so it wound up in the dumpster, and that was it. I was without a bike for a long time. That was at least a good 10-year break of having a bike. Yeah, I went a long time in between when I was able to get another bike, but I always knew I would get another motorcycle. In fact, I even made my own motivational poster and had it on the wall. It was a picture of a motorcycle. And funny thing is, it was a picture of a Softail. I always thought my dream bike that I was going to buy was going to be a Harley. Well, who knew? As time progressed, I learned I am not of the Harley crowd. That's not my shtick. Oh man, all these people are turning. I want to go straight. And I will just kind of filter in. This guy's going to be pissed, but he'll get over it. That was pretty much my beginning story. Like I said, I always knew that I would eventually get back on a bike when the time was right and I could afford it and get what I really wanted. So, like I said, eventually came around where, yeah, the gas prices spiked. It was costing me a lot of money in fuel to get to work on the truck. I was like, you know what? I just need an economical motorcycle. I don't need the big cruiser. And I like the comfortable seating style of a standard bike. And, I was looking at Yamaha and Suzuki and Kawasaki, looking at everything. Obviously, a rice burner because I was trying to keep it on a budget. And I was looking at, stuff that was, the small bikes, the, 600s and smaller. I knew I didn't want anything smaller than, a 250 because I needed to take it on the freeway. I had to be able to keep up with traffic. But I knew I didn't want to buy anything big. I didn't want anything bigger than the 750 I had. I did not want to get a 1,000cc bike. I still felt I did not have the experience to handle a bike that big. I was really leaning toward like a Honda Shadow, and then met this guy through the Land Rover Club, and he had a bike. And I started, checked out his website, saw what he had, and started asking him questions about it. And he was like, yeah, it's rock solid, blah, 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 good bike, easy to work on. And I'm like, man, I don't know, BMW, I don't know if I can afford a BMW. Those are not cheap motorcycles. It was one weekend, me and the wife, let's go to the dealership, let's just look at them. And, we do just that. We get up there, we look at them. And just so happens they have this bike on the showroom floor. Thing looks pristine, brand new. And in fact, I thought it was new. And when I saw the price on it, I didn't understand. Reduced as much as it was because it was actually a used motorcycle. It had just under a couple thousand miles on it. Still had the factory warranty, all that blah, blah, blah. And the salesman basically said that, yeah, it was bought by a guy who thought that's what he wanted. But after spending almost 2,000 miles on it, decided he wanted to get the 1200. He wanted the bigger bike. To my surprise, they gave me a really good interest rate for financing. So I was like, oh yeah, man, sign me up. We're done. And it's been my faithful steed for all those years. So that kind of gets you up to speed on my ride. And hopefully when I play back this video, it's not all wind noise and you can actually hear my voice. Video will probably never see YouTube, and I'll have to shoot a separate intro video once I get my Sena backpack.